Yo, good afternoon, everybody. This is the comment show here. I'm not hear my microphone. Come on. There we go. My headset. Oh, had to get in there right. Good afternoon. It is 2:30 in the afternoon Pacific time. Welcome to ALPOUGH. First name's Michael, but everybody calls me Comment if you want to. I had a great weekend. I did 11 shows last week, including a sunrise one yesterday. Yeah, didn't get a chance to see that. It was pretty good. Hope you had a good weekend. Got some things done. I did landscaping around the house. That was fun in 90-degree weather. No, 106. Sorry. Welcome to those who are coming in. Welcome to those who will be here later. I know that it's Monday. I know that I come on every day at 2:30 Monday through Friday, 6:30 on Monday through Friday also. And I usually try and do, if I can, I do that sunrise with Amanda Darling. We had a lot of people in on the chat, and it was a lot of fun. And so I'm just really glad to be here. And I know that some will be watching me later. Some will be watching me tomorrow. Some will be watching months from now. And I'll be here. So with that said, let's get started with what we are going to be talking about. I think it's a really good subject, and I hope it gives you some way to, so to speak, claim your prize here. So today's talk is potential is essential. In order to have what you want out of life, there has to be some potential for you to want to get it. Now, potential, as we know, is fleeting. We've heard, man, this guy had the greatest potential in the world and he just blew it, you know? And those are the ones who'll be talking about, man, I could have been, I bet that could, what coulda, woulda, shoulda, really, man. We're here today. Most of everything that we're doing here is about results. So where are we? Oh, I have somebody on Twitch. Hello. So, living up to your potential, first of all, you have to discover what that potential is. All right. Let's break down the word potential. Potent. We know potent is kind of the subword of potential. So there have to be some potency. You have to be potent, got to be ready. All right. And so your potential is within yourself, and essential is also essence. All right. The essence of you. All right. With your being potent and essential. You see? So now, let me give you my personal equation here. Seed plus spirit equals you. Seed plus spirit equals you. Now, what the slang kind of is you're a star. You're a star. You're like the star up in the air. You're a star. They name celebrities. What do they name them? Stars. Okay, now, what's more realistic? Being a star or being a seed? Now, some people call themselves a star seed also. You hear that in the alternative New Age movement. And some people go by the stars. All right. But I'm more about you being a seed. I consider myself a seed. I consider you a seed. All right. Now, we also are spirit, right? So a seed was, how did we get created? By a seed between your mother and your father, right? What was given to you by the Holy Spirit? Your spirit, right? Seed created you within your spirit that creates you. All right. So now with that said, with that kind of stated, we're going to go in on the seed. My thing is the seed metaphor, although I do believe that this is absolutely real. All right. So you have to plant your potential. You got to plant it. You got to plant it out. You got to plant it. You got to plant it. Okay. All right. So planting your potential is putting it out into the universe. First of all, putting it out through your spirit. You must plant it by stating it with an intention. Now, you know, I just want to always break it down on the theme of what my show is about. It's about being an adult of your mind, being an adult of your thought, because you are what you think about. These are words of wisdom that was passed on through Sophia that I'm passing on to you. So when you're planting your potential like a seed, okay, like a seed, you have to plant it to get growth. All right. You know, if you don't put any action behind it, your potential is wasted. If you waste your essence of who you truly are, then you're really wasting your life. And most of us don't want to do it. We don't want to waste our lives. But because we all have had trauma since the time we were growing up, some more than others. But here in the last year and a half, the whole world's been in a trauma. And we're supposedly only coming out of the trauma now. I beg to differ. We still got to keep our eyes open on everything that's going on. So how do you get the grow? I mean, how does any seed grow? Water. Water is the key to life. And I'm letting you know that if you're not drinking good water, you may not be realizing it. I'm getting ready to come out with a video that is going to be a life-changing video for everybody who watches it. It's coming out on my 100th episode, which will be Friday. And it's going to be a key. So please, I'm on 92. I'll be on my 100 by Friday. And that is going to be a massive change with that after the 100 episode. I'm always looking to improve. All right. So water is the key to life, and then putting it on solid ground. When you want to have your potential realized, you have to find, you have to create that environment so that you can move into your potential. Now, we're not, all of us have had failures in our lives. Okay. I mean, if you want to call it a failure, I call it experience at the end of the day. I'll call it something to learn from at the end of the day. And as my daddy says, when you get knocked down, you get back up, son. So if you get knocked down, you just get back up. That's part of it. Now, here's one of my saying is when you have 1 foot down and 1 foot on a banana peel. That's what I'm talking about with being on solid ground. Being on solid ground. Now, you also, this is about getting support, because you can't make it. Most of us cannot make it by themselves. So you're on solid ground, but you don't have what you have to make sure you have both on solid ground. Now, let's talk about planning. All right. The best suggestion I can give is planning in pencil. You make a plan. Everyone will tell you, you make a plan. You ask any coach, they plan the first 15 plays in football. After that, it's on. You learn what you learn in the first 15 plays, and you adjust that game after that or at halftime. So plan in pencil. It's okay to write down in pencil. All right. Because you can erase in midstream and start all over. Because when the plans, they can go out the window. They can go out the window. You had a plan. I know I did. Mine got changed. I'm in the middle of this whole brand new thing. But it is what I want to do. It is what I've been called to do. And for me, the greatest gift I can do for you is to help you go through the pearly gates and find your potential. Because listen, I care. You know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I do. And not just that, but, you know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. One of the things I noticed, you know, the people who can blab, 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 they don't show their face. They don't show their face. I always don't get it when people, they feel that they can't show their face. And to me, there's something a little bit suspicious about that. And I notice people who are, you know, who are really the negative ones are the ones who don't show their face. Okay. So, you know, I'm putting it all on the line. You see me. I already knew, you know, I could do this without being on camera. I could do it. Well, you never even see my face. But that's not what it is. Because I like my face. So plans can go out the window, but then what do? You plan again and again and again and again and again and again. Because if you don't plan and you jump, well, you could be jumping with blind eyes. Jumping. And one of the things, you know, you already have blind when you're doing something you never done before. You know, this is my 90-second video. Well, I started at 1. And the first video was the worst video could possibly happen. The very first video. My computer blew up right before. I had 3 computers. I had to literally find another computer right before the show began. And then when it happened, I had all these streaming issues. And that was on April 1st. So it was an April Fool's joke on my first one. Okay. But the second one was literally the opposite of the first one. Same topic. I did it over again just for myself. I fixed the streaming and I really haven't had any problems since. Although, no, I don't mean that. I've had a lot of issues a lot of times. So you see here, like, here's my pearly gates back here. And I want to give you. I just want to let you know there's another side of me. Here's me both. Hey. I'm going to have more angles in here. It's going to be fun. You'll see. All right. So let me just tell you a couple things here on what has some of the people I have met. Okay. I've met so many people in my life. I have so many interesting stories, but I want to bring up a couple of people here. And this was when I was, I lived in Los Angeles, like literally in Los Angeles during the 80s, or 70s and 80s. I basically lived in Los Angeles. And, you know, I was very fortunate that I was able to meet a number of people. And I'm not saying that the people are, just because they're celebrities or whatever, doesn't mean that they're know-it-all. But I've met many celebrities. I met so many people that weren't celebrities. But I want to bring up a couple of people who were very inspirational to me. Now, first one is Pat Morita. Now, Pat Morita, if you saw The Karate Kid, okay, excuse me, The Karate Kid, He's in 3 sequels, 3 or 4, a number of television series, Happy Times. What? I'm not Happy Times. Happy Days. Um, and so now he's Asian, right? So I drove a cab in Los Angeles for a couple years, all right, and then I pulled up to this real fancy hotel, and out comes Pat Morita, and he gets in my cab, and I was just so tickled pink that Pat Morita, and at that time, that's when the movies were big right there. The Karate Kid movies were big. So here's Pat getting in, and Pat was one of the most nicest people I've ever met. I'm not kidding you. I've had a lot of people, had a lot of people in my cab. Pat Morita was one of the nicest, absolute, incredible people. He got in. He had, they want him to drive. So I'm, picking him up. He lived in Beverly Hills. I'm on the beach in Santa Monica. So we're driving. It takes a while to get to Beverly Hills. So he's telling me about his career. And one of the first thing he says, have you ever heard besides Bruce Lee of an Asian celebrity in the United States? And I'm like, no. He said, that's me. And he was very proud of who he was. And I asked him, which a lot of times, if I meet someone who can give me advice, I'm going to ask him. So now I was in the music business at the time. I actually did try to get in acting, but it was never for me. I couldn't remember the lines, but I loved music. And so I was, playing in bands at the time, and I'd been at it for a long time. I'd been at it for 10 years. And I said, Miss Morita, can I ask you some advice? What would you suggest for someone like me who's been at it, for like 10 years? I'm at a crossroads, on what I should be doing. And I think it was like 28. And he said, well, do you know how I made it? And I said, no, how did you make it? I never quit. He said, it took me 35 years to get this part. He said, I wasn't even picked first, second, or third. They had other people that they wanted. And I would not take no for an answer. And I was lucky because they all refused. They didn't want the role. They thought it was too, I forgot the words, when you're typecast. Okay. And look what he made it. And he said, it's not the person who makes it on talent or potential. It's the one who sticks with it the longest. You've got to stick with it. You got to stay with it. You got to keep going. And he really inspired me to be that. I got a new leaf on, and it didn't make it anyway, but I definitely knew that I could, but it was just so long before I decided to stop, which is I went another 5 years. And I've had joy of remembrance of being in the music business. Okay. So Pat, he just kept saying, you gotta keep going and believing. It's the one who sticks around the longest. The longest. So people, my friends, still just extremely talented, been in it for 10, 12 years in their business, in their art. And for you, I'm telling you to stick with it. I'm telling you, if you're still struggling, you think you should not do it, you can make a evaluation, but at the same time, do not half-ass do it. You see, because that's another thing he said was, you got to go all the way. You can't back off. You got to go even further. When you get the most tired, that's when you got to keep going. So Pat Morita, wherever you are, I'll never forget what you said. I don't even think Pat's still around. I'd have to double check on that, but I think Pat did pass, but I'll just have to check. Pat was, gosh, he'd be in his 80s easily now. I'll check. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's what he left. All right. The next guy I want to talk to you about is Clarence Williams III. Now, if you don't remember who Clarence Williams III is, He was first originally Link in the Mod Squad. I should have got these guys' pictures, but you guys know. Clarence Williams has been in everything. If you remember Prince's movie, Purple Rain, he was the father of Prince. And he has done extremely many roles. I'm sure you've probably heard of him. But Clarence Williams III is, without a doubt, one of the greatest character actors, one of the best actors ever. Absolutely. So now I go to this fancy hotel, and here comes Clarence Williams III. I saw him the moment he came through that door. I'm like, is he coming to me? And sure enough, he did. And, he was a little tipsy too. So, he said, my friends didn't want me to drive. So, I'm picking him up. So I pick him up. This guy is literally, I'm like, first of all, he didn't know if I knew who he was, but I just went off on roll after roll after roll that he had done. And, I said, man, whenever you're in a movie, you make a difference in the movie. If I know you're in the movie, I know it's a good movie. And so, Clarence was another one. I said, do you have any advice for me? And, and do you teach? Are you teaching? I think I asked him that first. Okay. I asked him first, are you teaching your method? I mean, how do people, are you doing a school? I mean, I'm sure you could be Lee Strasberg or Stella Adler or somewhere like that. And his answer was profound. He said, yes, I have. But the one thing I found out is 99% of them don't really want it. They don't want it. And I don't waste my time with people who don't want it. And I asked him, "Do you give me some advice?" And he said, well, if you don't want it, you're not going to get it. So you have to always stay in the state of mind of wanting it. You got to want it. And you're willing to pay the price for anything to do it. The acting was about giving your soul, is what he said. He said, a part of you dies on each role because you live the role and you die to the role. And then that's how you can move on. Once you do it, you die to it and you move on. So what I learned from that was potential is nothing without action. It is nothing at all without action. Keep planning over and over and over again. If it doesn't work, believe me, I have. I'm 64 years old. I have reinvented myself a lot of times. And as far as I'm concerned, this is it's another reinvention. I'm not saying it's my last one, but it is the thing that I want to do. And, it is at its beginning stages. I started April 1st. We're at June 7th, and this is number 92. So I'm willing to put the work in every single day. Okay. And I'm doing it with traction, action. And that's what you have to do, my friend. You got to put some traction in that action. That means you have to put your foot down. And you don't want one foot on the ground and one foot on a banana peel, because you can slip, right? I'm here to free your mind, Neo. That's what I'm here for. I got freed, and I want you freed. So I'll be back at 6:30 Pacific time today with another inspiration of wisdom to you. So the final thing, all I have to say now is ALPOUGH. That's me, ALPOUGH. First name Michael, but everybody calls me Comet. And Comet will be back 6:30 p.m. And I would love to see you. Until then, have a great afternoon, and we'll see you for the evening show.